Okay, so let's take a comfortable seat, an upright seat. In a few moments, I will read to you from Ruth King, and I'll screen share so that you can see what I'm reading. But for the time being, let's come into a seat where you know that you're transitioning from daily activity into your sadhana. So the daily activity is called your dinacharya, and the practice time is called your sadhana. And when you come in, let your attention at first really filter through all the noise of life outside, including your own mental noise, which is often referencing life outside of you, including past and future thoughts. Let's filter through that and come into the here and now. You can sense what I've been referring to as this vertical plane where you get connected and grounded. And also in this vertical plane, it's not just that we get connected and grounded downward, it's that we also get connected upward to consciousness, that's the 7th chakra, to clear seeing, that's at the 6th chakra, to speaking what is true, even if it causes conflict, that's at the 5th chakra. And we also go upwards to the heart to connect with that which is already installed as your human capacity for compassion, for loving kindness, your innate indwelling capacity for benevolence, generosity, for appreciative joy, for equanimity. You also have at your 3rd chakra the place where you connect to your inner wisdom and discernment, a sense of purposeful living, discernment between the real and the unreal, between the true and the untrue, between wise action and unwise action. And then down at the 2nd chakra, you have your access to vitality and what I sometimes call the sea of needs. And the word sea means like the ocean, the sea of needs, that we all have these fundamental needs as a human being. The most fundamental of those needs lives down at the 1st chakra for safety and connection. At the 2nd chakra, we have needs for things like the adventure of life. We have needs for creativity, for spontaneity. We have needs for feeling understood, having information. We have needs for grounding, for adventure, and many more. As you sense this vertical plane, now let your attention become more what I'm calling horizontal. So you can include the 360 surround of what is happening in life, since it is happening with all of us. And life is asking us to have a conversation, a very potent conversation. This is what Ruth King had to say about it. Having the intention that you're going to be in this dialogue means you're not going to turn away from it. You're going to give it some time. You're going to let it be your teacher for a while. And then you're going to see how it teaches you how to be more human. A big part of invoking the intention to be in this conversation is to learn from it, to learn about what we don't know, to question the lies we've been told, to decide our scope around how we see humanity. So having this intention means not turning away, means recognizing it's going to be here for some time. We want it to be here. This is not a disruption. It's not a detour. We're not being inconvenienced. We want this conversation to help us see how to become more human, to learn about what we don't know, to question the lies we've been told, and to decide our scope around how we see humanity. So this is really important, touching the 1st chakra, the need to understand our tribe, to have a sense of safety and connection for everyone, everyone's welfare. At the second chakra, the willingness to learn, the need for information, the deep desire, the longing that we sense in human nature. And at the third chakra, being able to have discernment, questioning lies that you've been told, and discerning how you can bring the Dharma or skill and wisdom into your life. So let's breathe in through this vertical channel now, but sense the breath expands also horizontally. I'd like you to do about 4 mindful breath cycles, really sensing the words that I've just shared from Ruth King, moving through your body, stretching the skin of the body outwards. Let your awareness and your antenna be more inclusive, more full spectrum. And twice more, a deep inhale, acknowledge the inhale pause at the top of the breath, a complete exhale, acknowledging the exhale pause at the bottom of the breath. And then join your hands to your heart. This is called Anjali Mudra. And I mentioned yesterday that inside the center of the palms is where you get to place your intention. And then from your heart, you make this forward offering. That's what the word Anjali means, to make a forward offering from the heart. And we make this offering by using the chant, this invocation. Like vibration from the heart to the hands, to the intention, to the offering. We'll chant Asatoma Satgamaya. Om. Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. With your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart and to the intention that you placed in the center of your palms. And then please release your hands. You may open your eyes. Okay, we're going to go up to standing. And so let me arrange, I don't have a host this morning, so let me take care of this myself for a moment. I think I do this. Okay. I'm on my way. You guys can come up to standing. Okay, yeah, that's good. Alrighty, and take a wide stance on your mat. I'd like to repeat some of the warm-ups that we've been doing in the last week. And so those will become familiar to you. You'll be able to do them even when you're not in yoga class. So a wide stance like this. Reach back and interlace your fingers. Squeeze the shoulders back towards the wall behind you. And lift up through your heart and your collarbones. Open your throat, lift your chin so long as your neck is agreeing with you. Raise your gaze up towards the ceiling. And when you're raising up like that, it is okay for the hips to come slightly forward. So you're getting an opening at the front of the hip flexors also. And then breathe in. And when you exhale, come up and over and then down. And do your best to take your arms overhead up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. And raise your shoulders away from your ears so your neck has traction and feels relaxed, we hope. And then exhale. We're going to use the inhale to rise back up to standing. Keep your hands clasped. As you come up, take the tailbone down and forward. Lift your heart, lift your collarbones, open your throat, lift your gaze. And then exhale up to vertical. Let's imagine that you're facing to the north, because I have to just choose one for all of us, that this is north, and we're going to start going a little bit northeast, northeast, east, east, like this. So on the inhale, raise up through your heart, gaze up. And then exhale, come up and facing northeast, come down to your forward bend. Raise your arms up overhead, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other and away from your neck. And with the next inhale, rise up, you're facing north, northeast. Okay, make a little back bend. Go a tiny bit more north, northeast, east. And exhale to bow over towards your left leg. And with your next inhale, energize your legs, raise your heart up. So this is north, east, east. And then one more time, go a little bit more east. And as you exhale, bow over, noticing whatever is awkward or uncomfortable or unusual about this with your body. Notice where the efforts have to be kind of fresh, because this may not be a neuromuscular pattern that you've done before. When you inhale this time, press down through both legs, lift your heart east, east, and up to center. Release the clasp of both hands and arms. And try to get a sense, you can close the eyes, try to get a sense from inside how much of that full spectrum your mind is now aware of, having gone just to sort of this one quadrant, north to east. And then interlace your fingers. Again, roll your shoulders back, lift up through your heart. We're going to be going north, northwest. So inhale to go up. And exhale, keep the legs steady and just go north, northwest. So it's the smallest degree of change. And then inhale, glide your shoulders back, your heart forward, rise up. So it's north, northwest. And add a little bit more west. So you're going to come down as you exhale. Keeping the legs toned is important so your base is stable. With your inhale, slide your shoulders back, bring your heart forward, rise up. Lift your heart, collarbones, and gaze. And now a bit more west, so it's northwest, west, west. Again, keep the legs steady. Energize the upper back and shoulders. And as you next inhale, raise your heart forward, slide your shoulders back, press into both hips and heels. Come to center. And exhale to release. Allow the arms to dangle. Close your eyes and try to get a sense now of this, the possibility of like a 180 view, because we've gone in these directions. Good. Now, let me just tie my hair back. We're going to be doing yesterday's warm-up where We inhale, the arms go wide. We're going to be going down to a twist. And at some point, I'm going to have you also turn your feet so you can get a full spectrum view. So with your inhale, sweep your arms wide like a snow angel like this. Now exhale, come down to your left. Touch the floor with your right hand, gaze up to the upper corner of your room to your left. And then inhale, rise up. And exhale down to your right. Inhale, rise up like a starfish or a snow angel position. When you exhale now, come down and bring the right fingertips towards your left foot and gaze up to the upper left corner of your room. You inhale, rise up to center. Exhale, left hand to your right ankle or somewhere near there. And then inhale to rise. And what we're going to do now is actually twist before we go down. Turn your left foot slightly out. You exhale, rotate and twist. Inhale to rise, rotate your foot back in as well. Exhale, turn your right foot and come down. Inhale, rise up, rotate your foot in. Left side again. Exhale, rotate your foot and come down to twist. Inhale, rise up, rotate your foot in, and exhale to your right. Inhale, rise up like a snow angel or a starfish. And exhale, come down please to Prasarita Padottanasana. Gaze back between your feet, between your hands, towards the baseboard behind you. And you can gently close your eyes so your gaze on the outside world is quiet for now, but gazing inside, try to sense the full spectrum view that life is asking of you. And then please shift your hands to your hips. Rise up to standing. Step your feet in to mountain pose like this. Yeah. And when you come up to stand, try to sense it from within. You can close your eyes. Like, what is your sense of your brain's awareness, not of just that which lies in front of you like your to-do list in daily life, but what is the panoramic? What is the lateral view? And what is the hind view? What can you sense? I'm going to turn my yoga blocks to the side so you'll see my profile. You can stay as you are, but I'm going to go to this side because the microphone's over here. And please come forward for Surya Namaskar. And plan to have a little sense of adventure like we talked about last weekend. We don't know where we're going. You might experience that in this particular sequence right now. So energize your legs. Come into the Ujjayi breath, so your vertical connection down to the earth and up to the heavens, your connection through the chakras is established. But also widen the breath so you can still sense that encompassing life, the full scope, the full spectrum view. And let's inhale, take the hands down, turn your palms forward, raise your heart and your arms up, lift your collarbones, open your throat, gaze up. And then exhale, bend your knees and come down to chair pose. And as with yesterday's practice, turn the triceps in towards your nose, widen your shoulder blades on your back. Then inhale, press down to go up, upward hands pose. Push firmly down with your strength so that you can rise with your elegance. And then exhale, hands to your heart, come down to Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward. Open your throat. Exhale, take your left foot straight back. This is for the crescent lunge. Inhale, sweep the arms wide and sense that this morning, not just to stretch your inner body, but to bring your mind to the full spectrum. With your exhale, open to warrior two. So you can imagine this sphere that you have just encompassed. You had a wide circle left and right, and then you opened sort of north to south. Turn your right hand up. Inhale, rise up with the right arm. Come down with your left. Exhale, level it off, warrior two. We're going to repeat that. Inhale, raise your right arm. Walk the left hand down. Exhale, level off as if the arms were floating on the air beneath them, like a bird in the sky. Inhale, rise up. I can see you guys in my mirror over there, so I'm watching with joy. And then exhale, level off, so it's warrior two again. And now I'm going to ask you to make this big step forward. So you inhale and step up towards mountain pose. And exhale, hands to your heart. Notice how it is. We've just done one part of a sequence. Where does your mind feel more spacious, expansive, curious, available? The inhale, sweep the hands down, wide and up. Lift your gaze and your heart. Exhale, sit down to chair pose. Inhale, rise up, upward hands pose. Root down firmly with your strength to rise up with wisdom and elegance. Exhale, hands to your heart, bow forward. Energize your leg muscles as you complete the exhale. Inhale, glide your heart forward. The exhale, take your right toes straight back. Keeping your right hand planted on the block, inhale, twist to your left. Okay, exhale, when you unwind from the twist, let the left hand come down past the right hand. And then inhale to open. So when you come down, you actually are reaching across the midline of the body. Exhale, lower your left arm, reach past your right hand. And then inhale to open. And exhale, lower down, reach past your right hand. Open the upper back on the back side. Inhale, strengthen your right arm, raise your left arm like the wingtip to the sky. And as you exhale, now come to airplane pose. Tone your left outer hip so your airplane pose is steady. Rise up, crescent lunge. And then in a moment, you're going to have an exhale breath to step forward to mountain pose. So deep breath into the back waist, please. And exhale, step forward. Mountain pose. Notice where your attention feels available, in what directions, both inner and outer. Join the hands. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Lift your heart, collarbones, throat, and eyes. Exhale, straight down this time, Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward. Make sure the blocks are well suited for your hands to step back to downward facing dog pose. One of the reasons to use the blocks for dog pose is what happens when we step forward from dog for standing poses, but also this work I'd like to do with upward dog pose to give you an advantage with longer arms. So when you next inhale, start rolling forward to plank pose. I'd like you to have your thumbs inside the blocks, the 3 fingers outside the blocks, and your index fingers can point on the diagonal on the blocks. This is your plank pose. So breathe in and out, make it smooth. And then step over 1 foot, point the toes, roll down so you can touch the knees to the floor if you like. Roll the shoulders back, lift your heart up, begin to roll your collarbones up. Shoulders stay back as you lift your chin. For those who'd like, you can lift the knees from the floor. And then exhale, roll up to plank pose. And inhale, reach backwards, downward facing dog pose. Okay, exhale, right foot forward between your hands, 1 smooth step. Tip the block under your right hand to the vertical position. Pivot your left heel down and rise, please, to triangle pose. So in this triangle pose, make the legs steady. We're going to be working with the arm and with your gaze, with your shoulder. So when you're gazing up, look up at your left thumb, please. And then when you gaze down, open your left arm sideways and try moving your gaze smoothly down towards your right big toe. So when I say smoothly, I mean the gaze is not staccato, like a dotted line. Try to make it smooth. Inhale, gaze up at your left thumb. Raise your left thumb into a viewing position. And then exhale, gaze, tracing the line that you do in your room, in your practice, down to your right big toe. Inhale to open and try to time the movement of your eyes smoothly, the movement of your left thumb. They meet each other at the top here. And again. This process of making the eyes smooth is not just frivolous yoga. We are working with neuromuscular patterns, with the senses, with concentration. We're smoothing out the function of the eyes. One more time, this is influencing your brain, and you might find that it's difficult, in fact, to make the line smooth. Now, press into both feet, and as you inhale, rise up as if you had come from up to down in your triangle pose. You turn your right foot to be parallel, turn your left foot out. I realize that you don't know where we're going, and that's purposeful. Exhale, bend your left knee, side angle pose. You inhale, rise up, warrior two. Now, when you exhale, let's come down like this so that the arms cross. Yep. And rise up, arms wide. Keep your legs steady, please. Make the breath smooth. You can think of the arms like a windmill right now. You're doing great. Yes, of course, the legs are also working. Twice more. Arrive in warrior two. And hold steady. Notice when you get to warrior two with where you've been in the sequence, what is the quality of the scope of your mind? Sometimes in warrior two, we have been taught how to gaze, and I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and then to sense what view you can have from within. And then inhale, rise up, straighten your left leg, bring your hands to your heart. Rotate your left toes in, rotate your right toes out. The inhale, sweep the arms wide. There you go. And let's exhale. We're going to come down. These two blocks are still asymmetrical. They're here waiting for you. Place your left hand on the lower block and your right hand on the taller block. When you press down into the left hand, go ahead and imagine you're pushing the block forward, the left block forward. Reach your left hip back. Press down into your right hand on the tall block, so you are twisting your upper back to your right. Good. And then as you exhale, pivot your left heel up, touch the right block down so it's on the medium setting again. And now inhale your left foot forward to meet your right foot. And with the feet hip distance apart, come into Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale your hands to your heart. Okay, now inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. This is familiar, symmetrical. Exhale down to your Uttanasana. Inhale, glide your heart forward. Okay, with your exhale, take your right toes back, tip the block under your left hand to be tall, like this. And press firmly into your left hand and arm. Pivot your right heel to the floor behind you. Inhale and open to Trikonasana, triangle pose. Raise your gaze up towards your right thumb. And then this one, I'm going to ask you to follow your right thumb down, down, and past your left wrist. Now inhale and follow your right thumb up and up slowly. So the eyes cannot rush the thumb, and the thumb should not rush the eyes. Please keep your legs steady. So inhale to open, both legs grounded, root your tailbone towards your right heel, energize your left arm. Exhale, come slowly down, following, cross the midline. And inhale to open. And exhale, come down. So when you're crossing the midline here, keep your eyes with your right thumb. And now sweep the right arm up, but keep your gaze down. And exhale, float up, like you're coming up from triangle pose to standing, like an Iyengar class. Turn your left foot in and turn your right foot out. Go deeply out. Pivot your pelvis and torso to face towards your right leg. Inhale, raise your arms up. And then exhale, bend your right knee. Keep the back leg grounded. Press into the left big toe mound. Reach from your upper inner left thigh into your left heel. And then breathing in. This is Virabhadrasana 1. When you exhale, I'm going to ask you to step forward to mountain pose. So let's breathe in, reach up high. And then exhale, step forward and up. And mountain pose, let the arms dangle. Listen inside for how your brain senses, how your gaze, your inner gaze can sense the full spectrum surrounding you. Notice how the asymmetrical practice is influencing, maybe even your desire to know where we're going. We don't know. Inhale, raise the arms up. And exhale, hands to the heart, come down to Uttanasana. Okay, inhale, glide your heart forward. And then step backwards with your left foot. Make a big step and bring your left knee down, please, to Anjaneyasana. So the left knee is rooted. Inhale, rise up through your heart. So Anjaneyasana, we do take the pelvis down and forward, but we are not hanging in the right hip like a hammock. I'm going to ask you to clasp your hands, please, and place them at the base of your skull. Like put the pinky finger side of the hand at the base of the skull like this. Raise the elbows up and pull up with the pinky finger side of the hand. So you're going up. You can also press your head gently back into your hands. So as you raise your elbows, you're really aligning your heart, your throat, and your head. And then exhale, aim your hands high again like an arrow. And hands to the heart, come forward. Let's lightly touch the floor with both hands. Curl your left toes under, please, and step backwards to plank pose. Keep those two blocks back there. They should not really be in your way. We're going to come back around to them. So from plank pose, now exhale, bend your elbows, come onto the floor. This is for Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. Inhale, roll your chest and heart forward. Lift your collarbones, open your throat, lift your gaze. Exhale for Pranam. Come down slowly. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, roll down. We're going down slowly. Gravity will make sure you get there, so don't worry. Again, inhale to roll up. And exhale to roll down. Curl your toes under. Press up to plank pose, please. And reach backwards to downward facing dog pose. Okay, I'm smiling at you, not knowing where we're going. Let's raise your right leg up. And exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. You can press down through your right heel like a windmill. Raise the arms. Pivot your left heel, raise your right hand. Rotate to face back to the direction that we started. And here are your two asymmetrical blocks. They're waiting for you to return. Press the right hand down as if you're going to push that block forward. Reach your right hip back. And with your left hand on the tall block, press down and twist your upper body to your left. There's a few factors here that you can choose for yourself. How far forward do you want to reach the block under your right hand? How grounded is your back heel? The strength that you put into your left arm is asking you to twist your upper body to your left, while the right hand is pressing forward. So this might not be a neuromuscular pattern that you know that well. On the other hand, if you think about the crawl stroke, also called the freestyle stroke in the swimming pool, you're nearly there in that cross crawl pattern in the pool. So breathe into it, see if that's a helpful sort of familiarizing of the upper back. And then please pick up your right heel, place the block under your left hand medium, place the other block, and step backwards to downward dog pose. And this will be the last time through to upward dog pose. So please inhale, roll forward, step over one foot, and then the other. You can put your knees on the floor. You could have them down for a little bit more power for those who need that. You can also have the knees lifted. Okay, with your exhale, root down, roll up, plank, and then lightly touch the knees down. Put the big toes together and reach backwards to child's pose. And I'd like you to put, in this child's pose, put the block under your head, please. And let your body come to rest. You don't know where we were going. You had no roadmap there. There's a process we're going to do for the upper back, neck, and shoulders here. We did this last week or within the last 10 days. I don't think you'll have to see me, but it might be to some people's advantage to see a little bit. So you're in child's pose right now, and the forearms, you can bring them down next to, underneath the shoulders, next to the knees. I'm going to ask you to walk only your right hand forward. Walk it forward and use your right hand as if the fingertips were like a spider, like yesterday's class. The center of the palm of the right hand can lift like a suction cup. Keep the right hip drawn back. Now, on your block, turn your head to your left. And then place your left hand rather than your elbow on the floor and twist your upper body to your left. It's funny because I used to be a lifeguard and I was a swimming teacher. We never use this position to teach how to breathe in the crawl stroke, but it's pretty close to the idea. So I'm going to ask you to press down with your left hand so that your twist of your thoracic spine and your neck, you might find that you're able to turn your twist for your gaze even a little bit more to the left. Keep the right arm active, please. And then rotate so that your left elbow comes down again. Bring the right elbow back, rest your forehead on the block. Now walk the left hand forward and come up to your fingertips like a suction cup. Lift the center of the palm and rotate your upper inner right armpit towards the ceiling. And then walk your right hand to the place where your right elbow has been. Please turn your head on your block to your right and begin twisting your upper thoracic spine and your neck to your right. Reach both hips back. So you really are lengthening the left hemisphere of the body as you're twisting your upper back to your right. And then walk your right elbow back to its starting position. Left elbow, bring your head back to the starting position. And please walk yourself up to kneeling to sit in zazen. And what that means is you're going to sit on the block kneeling, flat, medium, or you could do 2 blocks together. Please take a seat and let your hands come face down to your lap. And try to sense here inside the brain, if you have almost like a feeling that the brain has this radar screen like a submarine, and this radar gets to go 360. And check and see where you sense you have access and places where you sense that you may not yet. As you're sensing that, try to welcome in not just the surroundings that you're in, but a sense of the human family and the dilemmas that we're navigating. And deeper than that, even larger than that, to sense the ecology on which every one of us is dependent. Invite your body to sense, to feel, to belong to this time in our species, this time. Now we're going to be stretching the inner thighs for a few minutes, so I'm going to recommend a blanket. And I have seen your names here, who's here for class, and I know that some of you have been Sunday 10 a.m. yoga students for quite some time, and I have seen us doing this activity, so I am smiling at you right now. I don't think it's the most frequently requested thing that we do. I'm going to recommend you open your blanket because if your thighs are longer than mine, which is the case for many of you, then you're going to need a little more space for the knees to go out. This is called frog pose. So let's start. And I know my friend is here from Gearhart's. He said, with the extra bendy hips, you don't get to go all the way down. You know who I'm talking to. So the knees can start wider than the hips, but put the big toes together and simply come down to your elbows. That's the first stage. It's kind of like child's pose, frog pose, getting ready for frog pose. Then we're going to slide the knees out, keeping the big toes still together, and press your hips back towards your heels. So you can think of this like a version of frog pose right here, with the big toes still touching. And draw the hips back. Try to keep the lower back a little bit broad so you're not hammocking the lumbar spine. Take the knees out a few inches more, but walk your elbows forward. Now here's the tricky thing. I can't see all of you from a bird's eye perspective. I'd like your hips to line up with your knees and not really to go forward of the knees. And you can sense if the inner thighs feel like they could allow the knees to go left and right tiny bits more. And keeping the lower back broad, now you can take the feet apart and you're gonna point the toes out to the sides of the room. So the ankles are as if you were standing now, not pointing as if you're swimming the crawl stroke, but the ankles are pointed as if you were standing or hiking. As the knees go out and the inner thighs begin to sing, please tone the low belly so you are not hammocking the lumbar spine down towards the floor. These are your hips. This is your inner thigh left, inner thigh right. Let's bring the big toes back in so they may touch each other. Your knees have widened apart. So as you walk back now, reach your hips back towards your heels, keep the elbows where they are, and see if you can press the floor away from you with your elbows to reach your hips back. You may be sensing the upper inner groin muscles. And then walk your hands back towards your knees. Now press into both hands and arms. So the knees are right now still in frog pose, like a wide frog pose. Bring the heart forward. What you're going to do is press down into both arms to lift your knees and the lower back, and then bring the knees in to center. Okay. Now, you don't need your blanket at the moment, but let's keep it and just fold it in half like this, put it aside. We're going to come back to that. Please take 2 blocks to sit on like you're squatting. You're about to be part of a drum circle, or you're squatting to shell peas, which is something we did when I was a kid, and we had to sit on the basket. We had gotten the peas, but we're not shelling peas here. We're going to do this variation on Baddha Konasana, and to those of you who don't have flexible toes, I don't either. So I'm not trying to torture anybody or leave anybody out. See if you can put the soles of the feet together like this. Okay, we want to have a gentle stretch for the inner thighs. Now what you can do, here's a couple of options. You can take your hand down between the inner thigh and the ankle, and down between the inner thigh and the ankle to try to bring the heels a little bit more forward and the knees a little bit more out to the side. And notice what feels unusual, right? So when you do unusual things in yoga class, you get to practice something new, having a new view, feeling a new sensation. You get to practice not quite knowing what you're doing or where you are going. You also get to practice listening to that which you don't yet know. About your body, for example, or your breath, listening to that which you don't yet know about yourself or about human nature. And so let's release the hands. Now the heels can touch again if they're able to. Press the knees out and come gently forward with the torso. We're not going that far forward. Please, no idea that your head is going to reach the floor. That's not our destination. And then please roll up to sitting. And I'd like you to bring the knees towards each other. Step your feet out. So like this, like maybe you're trying on your skis, your ski boots, or your ankles, or your cross-country skis. Take your hands over your knees. Try to sense what perspective, what unwinding and revisioning is happening. Now we're going to do a pose that I kind of made up, but it turns out that when you make up a yoga pose, somebody else is also making it up. You're going to sit on a blanket for this pose, and because we're going to use this blanket, this kind of strangely folded blanket, I'm going to ask you not to use that one to sit on right now, but to take an extra if you have another blanket. And these can be nearby, these two blocks. I'll take this blanket to sit on. Okay, so when you come down to sit, let me make it so you can see. Take your right leg out to the side like this. That's familiar to most of you. We've seen this as Janusirsasana, but I'd like you to step the left foot out sideways like this. Okay, so that what happens is your left hip, at the moment we want it to rest on the floor. We want both hips to come down, but the right hip's going to feel heavier for the moment. You're going to take your right hand to hold your left ankle. So that starts a twist. Take the left hand against your left knee. I just love this pose. Notice when you now start pressing backwards with the torso, you're going to stretch the right shoulder blade away from the spine. And you can walk your left foot out to the northeast if you want to make that a more steady base. So we are back bending, side bending, and twisting. Twist your upper body to your left. And keep the right hip heavy on the floor. It's grounded. The word for that in yoga is called garimo, means grounded like the earth, heavy like the earth. You may start sensing the left lower back or the left side waist. Now keeping your right arm as it is. If your body concedes to this, if your body says yes to this, raise your left arm up and then reach it across. Keep the breath smooth and stay connected to your inner experience with your body. Make no destination. Don't reach for a certain destination in the pose. Your body has to be your teacher right now. You may raise your left arm up and reach it out. Rise up and return to center. So left foot in, right foot in. There you are. Take notice. Listen even now to like how your body has this full spectrum view. And then take your left leg out to the northeast. And bend the right leg in this position. Okay, so for those of you for where your hips might feel awkward or asymmetrical, that's also my experience right now. So this is my hip replacement hip. And when I put my right leg out, I feel like I'm going to fall over. So you have to accommodate. What I'm going to do to make that more doable is raise my blanket one more fold. And that's because the joint has to be respected, the hip joint. And in my case, that hip joint, it has a limitation for abduction. The apparatus has great stability, but it has this one limitation for abduction. So now my hip can descend better. You can decide similarly if you need to. And you're going to reach the left hand across. And right hand to your right knee. And as you are back bending and side bending and twisting, please go slowly. We'll keep the left leg strong. That's the straight one, which actually is my right leg. Some of you know that I'm mirroring. So that is my right leg, but it's your left leg. Allow the left shoulder blade to widen on the upper back as you hold your right ankle. As you're twisting to your right and side bending to your left, just notice maybe the right lower back is starting to come into view, or the right side waist. By coming into view, I mean the sensations are showing up on your radar screen. And please raise your right arm up if you like. You can also decide not to do that. Listen into your body for any sensations that are unusual, unfamiliar, giving you a chance to get uncomfortable, to practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable, to listen to that which is uncomfortable or unfamiliar. And you can raise your right arm up and unwind. So bring your right foot in. This is called Siddhasana. Bring the left foot in. When the two heels are lined up like this, we call this pose Siddhasana. It means powerful pose. The word Siddha, Siddhasana, is related to the word Siddhartha and to the word Siddhis. Siddhis means powers, S-I-D-D-H-I. So this is a powerful pose, and that's one translation. Try to sense your capacity for inner sight, and that on your radar screen, a capacity for welcoming the human condition surrounding you. And deeper than and more widespread even than that, the ecology on which we're all dependent. And we're going to take this blanket that we had before, folded, and we're going to use it purposely. Let me put these blocks aside, you don't need them. So if you have one blanket to use as a neck roll, what you can do is prepare that one. You don't quite know how much you're going to roll it, because I don't want you to roll it completely. I want the neck roll to be able to support your throat to be open. But this blanket is extra special, this other one. So you take it back to the long blanket that we opened, fold it in half, and then roll it. You're going to have this kind of rope blanket, and you're going to be placing that over your ankles and around the thighs. Let me show here. So before I lie backwards, I actually don't know where I'm going to land on that. So I'm going to hold onto this sort of ropey blanket and go back so that I want my neck. Oh, I did pretty well. So the neck goes on this blanket roll, and the size is pretty good for me, actually. What I want you to sense is that it supports the cervical spine, including the occiput, and the throat's open, not pulled down and closed. And then this guy, you sneak it up and watch here. You lift the hips and just tuck the corners of this blanket under the outer thighs. So what happens there is that your knees cannot keep descending towards the floor, and the sacrum is hovering between these two pieces of blanket. So your lumbar spine is going to have a chance to kind of relax back towards the floor. And partway through this resting position, we will undo the legs, but we're going to keep the neck roll. So please check that this is to your liking. And you tuck the shoulder blades under. And please close your eyes. We're giving specific support to the body, your body. You've brought your ankles close enough to the hips and pelvis to encourage a specific opening for the pelvic bowl. And support at the outer thigh bone means the sacrum again is just very lightly touching, but the tailbone is probably not touching the ground. The top of the sacrum and the lumbar spine, they can relax back towards the floor. And the shoulder blades gently tuck under the heart. I want your neck to feel completely supported. And close your eyes and practice going within as if now for Shavasana, you were the submarine and you're pulling in the periscope. You're going to turn off the outer radar screen for right now. Let yourself go inside for renewal. Really sort of specifically allow the inner belly and your back waist to relax, to become deeply heavy. with relaxation. Let the inner body and the abdomen become even more relaxed. You could imagine all of the organs in the abdomen, they are also resting. Allow that to continue to take you inward. Invite more of the back of your body to rest into the ground. The organs in the abdomen heavy with relaxation. Now keeping the inner body very much at rest. Simply loosen the blanket from the outer hips and take the legs out straight. It will change very slightly the dynamic of the blanket roll under your neck. So you can allow for that. Maybe a little more pressure at the occipital ridge. Invite your eyes to relax. Soften the corners of your eyes, the space behind each eye. Release the hinge of your jaw. Invite your tongue to soften. Allow your head to gently, just very incrementally tip backwards. So the occipital ridge is the high point, but the back of the head is heavy. Let everything become very still. The eyes, the tongue, your mind, your body. Just for now, for this deep renewal. And welcoming that stillness to stay with you, particularly at the mind. Please rotate your head just as far as it comfortably goes to your right. And rotate to center and over to your left. This is like a massage for the neck right now. Rotate gently to your right again. And roll gently to your left again. And then roll back to center and bring your limbs with you as you rotate to one side. We're going to come up for pranayama. So first I'd like you to rest on your side. And when you turn to your side, notice the temperature at the base of the skull when you release the blanket roll. And then please come up to sit. And come up to sit for pranayama. I'm actually going to come up to sit with you there. We're going to practice pranayama. I want to see you a little bit better. I need my glasses. Take a comfortable seat. For those of you who practice pranayama on the floor, a blanket to sit on is recommended here. For those of you who are practicing sitting on a chair, that's fine too. I'm sitting on a physio ball. I just want you to feel stable enough for pranayama. Rest your hands out over your knees. And close your eyes. And try lifting the base of your skull right where the blanket was, that you have this sense like The head is sort of floating up off the spine, the upper spine. Just give your attention there for a few moments. In the Jalandhara Bandha, it's a combination of having lifted the upper inner part of the rib cage. So your collarbones right at the sternum, they roll up. And then there's this lift at the base of the skull right here. And that causes a tone to the throat, which causes a change in your physiology. That's Jalandhara Bandha, just in the simple sense. So place the tip of your tongue behind the top 2 teeth, please. Hollow the back of the throat and begin your Ujjayi inhale. When you get to the top of the inhale, try gently holding using Jalandhara Bandha. So you've lifted the heart with the breath. You've lifted the collarbones with the breath. You deliberately lift the base of the skull and draw back. And then you deliberately release that for the exhale, Ujjayi exhale through the nose. Good. Okay. Let's do that again, just this most simple version. So the Ujjayi inhale, you want the breath to come slowly. And then you want this upper part of the breath. And you're going to suspend the inhale. It's called inhale suspension. And then you're going to release that suspension before you exhale. And it's the Ujjayi exhale, slowly, slowly. Now we're going to add counting the breath. So I'd like you to inhale, count the length of your in-breath. Let's make the suspension equal to the inhale and the exhale equal to those as well. Please do that twice more. When you get to the upper part of the inhale, you're holding. But imagine the heart floating in the center of the chest. In your own time, you're going to release the bandha so that your exhale is equal to the length of inhale and suspension. And then please do that one more time. Last inhale in the sequence. And try to keep the mental chatter at bay. It's not necessary right now. You have your inhale suspension. And we'll have the exhale equal to the length of the inhale and the suspension. We're going to do 2 more breath cycles. And these exhales will be left nostril only, right nostril only. And so beginning with your inhale, Ujjayi inhale. Bring the right hand up, close the right nostril. Exhale, left side only. Inhale both nostrils. Close the left nostril, exhale right side. Release the breath practice altogether. Rest in the inner knowing that right now your body is going to breathe you. You don't have to make a particular kind of effort. You sit both in this vertical plane right now and in the surround, the full spectrum view. There can be simultaneously this inner quality of quiet in that central vertical channel, and yet a tenderness of the heart that goes outwards. Stay with your inner experience. It's another minute of quiet. And bring your hands together at your heart. We'll chant again the same that we began. We'll chant here at the end. May this practice help us to know the true from the untrue, the real from the unreal. May we go from forgetting to remembering, from heaviness or darkness or ignorance to luminosity or wisdom. May we know the finite from the infinite. May we go from contraction to expansion. Om Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma amritam gamayo. Om asatoma satgamayo. Tamasoma jyotirgamayo. Mrityorma amritam gamayo. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you for doing your part to stay awake, to be listening, not to retreat or back away, not to close out the world, but to allow your practice to influence how you are in the world. I know you have this commitment. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.